I'm Mary Lou from Melbourne Girls Grammar. Funnily enough, that's in Melbourne. A big part of my role as Director of e-learning is around innovation and technology integration, obviously, but also engagement for our students around learning. I don't know, have any of you heard of City Week? It's a program that's run in many schools, certainly in Melbourne, very popular with country schools, in fact, where students come in and stay within the confines of the city. There's a building there called the City Week building. Even local schools will send in students for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to do a City Week program. A lot of it's around service and action and going out on the streets, meeting people, getting to know our city and working with whether it's homeless people, all the different groups that support the City of Melbourne. This year, I had the teachers come and speak to me about how we might facilitate some technology or incorporate some technology into our City Week program. The girls were going in for a week, working full days for that week from Flinders Street location. And with our middle years program, we've recently restructured the whole curriculum and we've introduced we've always had technology embedded in there, but it's also about making it more challenging for the girls, introducing rigour and a lot of self-management. So on those programs in the past, the girls would arrive there at 9 o'clock on the first morning and they'd be given their timetable for the whole week. So a couple of things that this group of staff said, we no longer want you giving us the timetable. Our girls are going to construct their own timetables for the whole week and manage it themselves. So when they came to me about how we could do this with technology and how we could use Evie, which is Schoolbox for us, we talked about the different technologies we might use. Would it be a Facebook page? Would it be a Google Plus page? In the end, I decided on Twitter, mainly because a lot of our staff are now using Twitter. In the last 12 months, it's just gone through the roof at school, and hopefully it has for all of you as well, because it's a fantastic tool for professional development. And so the reasons we chose Twitter are all there. One of the big ones for me also was that because we could feed it back in through to Schoolbox, our parents didn't have to go off and try and navigate a new technology. So what we did was we rolled out some sessions for the staff that were going to be participating in this week of activities. We also had to help with the City Week staff that had never experienced Twitter before and had never seen a school interact with their program like this. Then I ran sessions for our students, so we got them all in a hall together on their notebooks or devices, and they set up accounts and we talked about how they would use hashtags. We set up an MGGS City Week hashtag, and then we went into Evie and set up our pages. So how we used Schoolbox to facilitate this was we included a Google map of all the destinations that the girls would be visiting. The girls use Google Docs to work collaboratively on their program and timetables for the week. We have the Twitter feed that displays all the tweets coming in. And this morning, James mentioned that you can see the images attached to those tweets, so thanks to all the team that got that up and going for us, because that's a big part of it. The girls want to share those images with the staff, the other students and also their families. And then we set up, each group works, I think they work in about groups of 5 or 6. We set up their own pages for each of those groups where they could post their own timetable, talk to each other through chat, use that however they wanted, post files, update images, whatever. So I'm just going to show you some of those pages. So this is the overarching page. And this map, when it's embedded, you could zoom in. So I said to them, if you're actually lost, you don't know where something is, get out your phone. Well, they all have their smartphones with them. and because they were tweeting, we knew that they definitely would. So if it was a certain, this instance it's St Pat's Cathedral, if they needed to find a location, they could actually zoom in and use the map on Schoolbox. There's the link there to their timetables. Each group actually had its own hashtag as well that they could use if they were talking to each other, and that meant that when we came back to school, each group could filter their tweets by those handles as well. Then we've got some examples of some of the groups' work. So the girls had control over these pages. So this is the Burke page where we want to show you how they use the timetable and the social stream. So this was totally under the girls' control. These Year 8 students did this. They had total right access without any teacher intervention. They were in control of these pages. And they were so excited dropping all the components in on the pages and wondering why they don't see them often on class pages. So it was a really good way of putting some pressure back on the teachers as well. How do I go back on here? I don't think breadcrumbs isn't on there, is it? Oh, there it is. Might have taken me longer. Not a Mac user. This group used Prezi via the social stream. So you can see they've embedded the link there to a Prezi. Go back up to the top. Then we had Flagstaff looking at topics and questions via the social stream and also using the image gallery. And obviously the social stream was a winner. They also had the countdown because they started working on these pages together weeks ahead of time. So to show you the actual Twitter feed, this is what it looks like. Now, because this was some weeks ago, poor Stan this week has been rounding up teachers saying, can you retweet some of those tweets? So because they all drop off the page, and that's a Twitter thing, they don't stay there forever. So that they were there for some time, but when we had a look 2 weeks ago, they'd all dropped off. So we had to retweet them this week. So you'll see a lot of them are tweeted by the teachers and also myself and Samantha up there. But this is the sort of stuff that was happening. And we had Schoolbox streaming live through the library television screen at the library borrowing desk. So any student or teacher coming into the library space could see exactly what was happening at any given time during City Week. And of course, parents logging onto the system, we had links embedded everywhere for them to also see what was going on and follow the girls' activities. Great for camps, any type of camps, this is really good. The teachers had a bit of a thing going, teasing the girls about one of the other staff members. There was it was hashtags for wombats and spot a wombat and all sorts of things happening there. So the girls were totally engaged, absolutely loved it. We didn't have any issues allowing the girls access to Twitter. We'll certainly be doing it in the future. And I can imagine we'll be doing it over different year levels now too, not just around City Week. It will be something we'll incorporate elsewhere into the curriculum because it was so engaging. And that's it.